I've lost about 7.5 kilos in the last 5 weeks or so, so I'm in a pretty aggressive calorie deficit. And if you're gonna be more aggressive with your calorie deficit, here's a few things that I'd recommend to try and keep more of your muscle and strength. I probably wouldn't be adding heaps of volume to my lifting routine unless I'm starting from absolutely nothing. While you can grow muscle in a calorie deficit, as they're different independent processes, it's gonna be much more difficult or unlikely the steeper your deficit is. So for me, on a more aggressive deficit at the moment, my main aim is retaining the muscle that I've built. And if you're gonna retain more muscle, it seems like the most important thing is probably your training intensity. And when I'm referring to training intensity, that falls into 2 categories. Number 1, the weight you're actually using, whether it's the weight on the bar or the machine. You still need to maintain a high level of loading. So don't just start using the light weights because you're in a deficit. And the second prong of that intensity fork is how hard you're actually training. If you wanna maintain a lot of the muscle and strength you've built, you probably don't wanna be leaving more than a few reps in the tank. That doesn't mean you need to train to complete failure every single set, but if you finish a set and you probably could have done 4 or 5 more reps, it's probably a good idea to be training a little bit harder. Now, when you're in a deficit, what seems to be second to training intensity is your training volume. So the actual amount of reps and sets you're doing. First and foremost, do your absolute best to maintain your rep strength on every movement you do in the gym. However, there'll probably come a time, the leaner you get, that you might start to lose a few reps here and there. But what you can probably give up a little bit quicker is your training volume in terms of sets. So if you're normally doing 3 or 4 sets for an exercise, or maybe 10 across the week, towards the back end of the fat loss phase, when you are feeling quite fatigued, you can drop a set or 2 from there. Granted, you are keeping the intensity high. And then when it comes to the diet side of it, you probably don't want to diet so aggressively that you're not fueling enough with carbohydrates to support your weight training. And your protein intake will be of utmost importance while you're dieting, as your body will need it more than any other macronutrient. And personally, I end up using a few more machine exercises rather than free weights because they're easier to maintain strength on, and you can probably push certain muscles closer to failure more often. That being said, a lot of different things can work, but I think that setup will make it easier for you to maintain your muscle and strength. And ideally, each time you diet, you're losing a lot of body fat and maintaining your muscle and strength.